Hi, my name is Cullen, and I'm a personal injury attorney in Winter Park, Florida. It doesn't happen very often, but from time to time we run into situations where we find out that our clients haven't been completely honest with their doctors. When this is revealed, and it often is in cases like ours that are frequently contested by either defense lawyers or insurance company adjusters, it can be really devastating to a personal injury case. So I thought it would be helpful to share a story about one of my clients who wasn't completely honest and forthright with her doctor. Maybe she had a good reason, but here's the story. So we represented a very nice young lady who was a college softball player. And in the midst of one of her college softball trips, she was traveling in a van which was owned by her school with several of other players, and their van was hit by another driver. In the course of the accident, our client's knee somehow got twisted or injured in the accident, and she ended up having some issues with her knee. So pretty much immediately after the accident, she started treating with the sports training staff on this knee, except for she didn't tell them that the knee had actually been injured in this van accident. I think, talking to her later, I think her concern was about playing time. She didn't want the coach to think she was injury prone, or didn't want the coach to take her out of the softball season because of her injury. But nevertheless, she didn't tell anyone on the training staff that the van accident was the cause of this knee problem. So they treated her, and she wasn't getting any better, so eventually they refer her to an orthopedic surgeon to look at her knee. So she goes to the orthopedic surgeon's office, sits with them, talks about the knee pain and everything else, but doesn't mention at all the van accident as being any kind of causal reason for her knee injury. Once our client found out that she needed surgery, that's when she called us and when she came to see us and explained to us what her situation was. Unfortunately, we had to explain to her that she was kind of in a difficult situation. She had, after all, she had been to these doctors, these different healthcare providers, and never mentioned anything about the van accident, which means that none of her medical records or the records that were generated from physical therapy or the sports training staff had any mention at all about the van accident. So essentially now she's coming to us and asking us to go to the insurance company for the person that hit the van and convince them that her knee is all related to this van accident. And you can kind of understand how difficult that might be if there are, many pages of medical records with no mention at all about van accident. So eventually we were able to get a result for our client, but that result was much less than it normally would have been because the defendant, the insurance company on the other side, had all of these arguments about how the knee was probably related to her sport and how there's no evidence that it was related to the van accident. So we asked them to use common sense, and we were eventually able to come to some kind of a resolution of the case. But it wasn't nearly what it should have or could have been had she just been honest from the get-go, from the very beginning. Even though her reasons might have been sound in the beginning and she thought she was doing the best thing for herself, really, truly, most times, almost every time, honesty is always going to be the best policy. We've heard that from our parents growing up, but it really tends to still be true today, and certainly applies to personal injury cases. So if you have any questions about the causal relationship of an injury to an accident, or what to tell a doctor after an accident, or how to deal with a situation like the one I just described, please reach out to us. We are happy to answer questions. All you have to do is call us at 407-254-4901. You can text us at 407-644-4444, or you can even reach out to us on Facebook through the Messenger app to our Facebook page, which we check all the time if you want to reach out to us that way as well.